All right, today we're going to break down a brutally effective ad script framework. I'm talking about a 6-step formula that has just generated some absolutely insane results. So if you really want your ads to work, and I mean really work at scale, this is for you. Let's just dive right in.
So, have you ever found yourself just staring at your ads manager wondering, why isn't this scaling? Why do I keep hitting a wall every time I try to push the budget up? It's a super common frustration for, well, pretty much anyone running ads. It's probably the biggest question out there. And you know what? The answer is actually surprisingly simple. It really boils down to two fundamental things you're not getting right. You are not stopping the scroll, and you are not convincing people that clicking your ad is actually worth their time. That's it. If you can fix those two things, everything else starts to fall into place. Now, the way to fix this isn't some super complex, high-tech, fancy new tactic. Actually, the source for this calls it the butter knife of advertising. And you might be thinking, a butter knife? Why? Well, because no matter how many flashy, new age swords you invent, this simple, basic, kind of boring butter knife, it just keeps on winning. It is undefeated. So what exactly is this butter knife? Well, it's a 6-step framework, and it's designed to do one thing and one thing only. Grab a human's attention and persuade them to do what you want them to do in less than a minute. So think of it less like just an ad script and more like the fundamental baseline for human persuasion. It works everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, anywhere you need to get that click. Okay, so how does this whole butter knife thing actually work in practice? It's a simple 6-step recipe. Let's break it down step by step. The best way to think about this is like a journey you're taking the viewer on. You start by grabbing their attention. Then you make a big, bold promise. You handle their skepticism up front, back it all up with solid proof, create some urgency, and then, only then, do you give them a clear call to action. So let's look at each piece of the puzzle. All right, step 1 is all about attention. And listen, your first 1 to 5 seconds have absolutely nothing to do with your product. Your only goal, your only mission, is to make someone stop scrolling. This could be you holding a weird object, maybe like a golden fish, or just showing something visually bizarre that makes people pause and think, wait a second, what am I even looking at? So once you have their eyes, you immediately hit them with a big, bold promise. This has to be tied directly to a major pain point they're experiencing or a massive gain they desperately want. But, and this is the most critical part, this promise has to be framed as a new opportunity, something they've never seen before. Because the moment their brain says, oh, I've heard this before, you've lost them. They're gone.
Now, step 3. This one's technically optional, but wow, is it powerful. This is what we call the without statement. This is where you address all the things they absolutely hate about trying to solve this problem. For example, how to make money without any upfront investment, or how to get fit without giving up pizza. You see? It just tackles their biggest objections right up front. Okay, you've made a huge promise. Now you gotta prove it. This step is completely non-negotiable. You have to back up that promise with undeniable verification. I'm talking testimonials, case studies, or even better, social proof from authority figures they already know and trust. Think Tony Robbins or Grant Cardone. The more proof you stack, the more real your promise becomes. So they believe you. Now you need to create urgency. Let's be honest, people are lazy by default. You have to give them a really good reason to act right now. And the best way to do that is to tap into their fear of missing out. FOMO. You could highlight what they're losing every single day they don't take action, or maybe offer a discount that's about to disappear. And finally, we get to the call to action. You tell them exactly what to do next. Click the button. But here's the key. Remember, you're not selling the whole product here. You are selling the click. That's it. Then you remind them of the downside one last time and just remove all possible risk with a crazy good guarantee. You make the decision to click, a complete and total no-brainer. So that's the formula. But why is it so ridiculously effective? Well, it's because this whole thing is basically a masterclass in applied psychology. And honestly, understanding the why behind it is just as important as knowing the steps themselves. And this really shows the massive shift in strategy. See, most ads out there try to explain the entire product. They just list off features and bore people to death. This script,
It does the exact opposite. It creates mystery, it keeps the core mechanism hidden and intriguing, and it focuses all of its energy on one single goal: get the click. These right here are the psychological engines that make the whole script run. You create that new opportunity to spark mystery and curiosity. You use authority and social proof to build rock-solid trust. And then you hit them with FOMO to drive that final click. It's just a devastatingly powerful combination. So, does it actually work? I mean, really. Let's look at the numbers. According to the source, a single ad campaign using this exact framework we just walked through pulled in over $102,000 in a single day. And that's not projected revenue. That's cold, hard cash collected in 24 hours. And now, that wasn't just a lucky break. The core logic of this butter knife script has been the engine behind over $132 million in total sales. And it works across any industry you can think of: software, e-commerce, coaching, you name it. The numbers just don't lie. This brings us to a really cool psychological trick: specificity. Why would you use a number like 15.3%? It's because a precise, slightly weird number is way more believable than a generic, rounded one, like 15%. It just kind of short-circuits our skepticism and builds instant credibility. It feels more real. Okay, so we've gone through the steps, we've covered the psychology behind it all. Now let's put everything together into an actionable blueprint that you can use to build your own butter knife ad like today. This is it right here, your final checklist. 1. Start with a bizarre hook to stop the scroll. 2. Hit them with a massive, bold promise. 3. Back it up with undeniable proof. 4. Create real urgency. 5. Sell the click, not the product. And 6. Remove all the risk with a killer guarantee. That's the entire formula. And that brings us to the final question, the one I really want to leave you with. This whole framework, it really hinges on one single incredibly powerful promise. So take a minute right now and really think, what is the single biggest, boldest, most impactful promise that your business can genuinely make to a customer? If you can nail that, you've got the core of your next winning ad.